I'm Australian. I've been living in Romania for longer than I really want to admit to. Except I had hair your colour when I arrived here.
What brought you to Romania?
Just curiosity, to be honest, I think, really. I was living in London at the time. I was a derivatives trader in London at the time, and my job finished there, and I didn't really want to go back to Australia at the time, which is where I'm from. I'm from Melbourne in Australia, and I had a friend who was coming to Romania, and he said, "Why don't you come and have a look?" And so I did. I didn't have anything really to do. And I had some money saved up, and I had time as well. And I liked what I saw about Romania. And over the next year or so, I gradually moved to Romania. And I didn't really have any idea about the future, about whether I would stay here for any length of time. I got here, I didn't do anything for about a year. I just had a look at the country, did a few odd jobs here and there. And then I fell in love with a Romanian girl from Bucharest, which is in central Romania, in a mountainous region. And I got married, and I decided that I really should start to get a little bit more serious about things. So I distributed my CV around to, I think there were only about 2 or 3 or 4 foreign banks here. At the time, I came from a background of banking. And I went and worked with the first one that showed any interest in me. So I worked as a banker for the first years of my time in Romania. And I've found that Romania is the kind of country that you can reinvent yourself in, and I've certainly done that, and cricket is like about my 6th career move since I've been here.
What changes have you seen in Romania since 2006
so
and
many.
2025?
So many. I can remember a time where you would walk into a shop and people would kind of elbow each other and whisper, "Foreigner, foreigner," kind of thing. And in those days, it was actually before mobile phones were really big. I would have a fixed phone, and I was sure that I was being listened to on the other end of the phone, because there was great suspiciousness in those days. You have to remember that really the dust took a long time to settle on the revolution. There was a bloody revolution here at the end of the 1980s. And really it took a long time to kind of work itself out, Romania. And in those days, there was still a lot of kind of communist paranoia, I would say, because the brand of communism that Romania had was way left. It was nothing in Europe. It was more like the kind of communism that happened in China under Mao Zedong. So there was great paranoia, great mistrust, and great suspicion about foreigners. But there was also a great curiosity about foreigners as well, which I kind of liked, I think, at the moment. It appealed to my ego at the time, because there were very few foreigners there in the country at that time.
And how do you feel now when you see so many foreigners here in Romania?
I think it's just been a natural progression. Romania has moved closer to the mainstream in that time. It's become a member of NATO. It's become a member of the European Union. and it is inevitable that more people will join. So it's good to see that that the things that you would expect in a thriving modern economy, a proper
Nation.
developed nation, are starting to develop here. But the drive over here, I have to say, kind of made me think, there's still some way to go in terms of traffic courtesy, and some of the roads I'd love to see the roads better constructed. But that's just one of the few things that you have to put up with about living in Bucharest. I think the traffic, it's unavoidable and it affects everybody.
It's very populated city.
Very, very.
And everybody likes to have a car here.
Yeah. And
That's why.
And the roads haven't been widened, and there hasn't been the underpasses and the overpasses and the tunnels and the traffic lights and the intersections that you would expect to see with such an explosion of cars over the last, say, 20 years. Yeah.
What difference did you see when you reached Romania? Being Australian, first you spent your early life in Australia.
Yeah.
You worked in the UK.
Yeah.
You came to Romania. How life was different in these three countries?
Well, it was completely different, but I have to say that Romania is becoming less and less different. I'm starting to feel quite comfortable here.
Well, I'm talking about the early days when you reached
the early
here.
days. I didn't really feel. I felt like a foreigner, I have to say, in those early days. But I think that's natural. When I was living in England, I was thinking about this the other day. I was always reminded of my Australianness by English people. They would kind of say in a half joking, half nasty kind of way, idiot, Australian, kind of thing. So I never really felt like I was particularly comfortable living in England at the time when I was there. And but I feel like I've been accepted, and I feel like I've got a really wide circle of acquaintances and good friends here, which is really important.
Just a question popped up in my mind. Australian living in the UK, there are big rivalries. How did you cope with that?
There is rivalries, particularly when it comes to cricket.
Exactly.
And because I think historically Australia is probably certainly in the more modern era has put better cricket teams on the field than England has. Certainly in more modern times, Australia's kind of got the edge in that regard. But it's great fun. When Australians and English get together, there's a certain. It's difficult to describe. I'm not sure if the same thing happens between Pakistanis and Indians. I've noticed the Pakistani-Indian rivalry, which is famous, particularly when it comes to cricket. I don't think it's so fierce and so friendly as the English Australian thing. I can remember being at the MCG, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, when the English have been playing, and there's been like 80,000, 90,000 people just screaming for English blood, So that rivalry is very much alive.
I guess a rivalry between Pakistan and India is so big that they get nervous even playing in the ground. And the crowd are the people watching home. They are even worse with their nerves because they cannot control.
Yeah.
They are losing wickets uncontrollably.
I know. I can see people like being affected so much. You know, they feel it through every cell in their body. You know, if a really famous batsman goes out cheaply, or a catch is dropped, or something like that. It's the same in Australia, but for some reason I don't think.
But English, both of the English teams, Australian and the UK, they have the nerves to play.
Yeah, they do.
They fight.
Yeah, they do.